is. Between the first Republican debate on Fox to last night's on CNN, they had to add another lectern for Carly Fiorina, the former Hewlett-Packard CEO and unsuccessful Republican candidate for Barbara Boxer's U.S. Senate seat. Since the format, the crowded stage, and the television itself doesn't lend itself to lengthy explanations of policy ideas, a serious or deep explanation of much, campaigns and candidates look for moments, because debates have an afterlife only as moments, as the 3 hours of give and take gets chopped up into little pieces like these.
You know, I think Mr. Trump is a wonderful entertainer. He's been terrific at that business.
And I'm also aware that California has a drought, and so that's why I made sure I brought my own water.
You're both successful people. Congratulations. You know who's not successful? Middle class in this country who's getting plowed over by Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton.
But honestly, Mr. Trump, I find it quite rich that you would talk about this. You know, there are a lot of us Americans who believe that we are going to have trouble someday paying back the interest on our debt because politicians have run up mountains of debt using other people's money. That is, in fact, precisely the way you ran your casinos. You ran up mountains of debt as well as losses using other people's money, and you were forced to file for bankruptcy not once, not twice, 4 times, a record 4 times.
You know what? As it relates to my brother, there's one thing I know for sure. He kept us safe. I don't know if you remember, Donald. You remember the rubble? You remember the firefighter with his arms around it? He sent a clear signal that the United States would be strong and fight Islamic terrorism, and he did keep us safe.
I don't know, you feel safe right now? I don't feel so safe.
More than 20 million people watched. The moments and the analysis will reach millions more. Bruce Haynes, Michael Fauntleroy, and Angela Kelly are still with me. And Angela, that's part of what a debate is, isn't it, these days? Now that most people don't watch, but most people see excerpts down the road, and people can create their own excerpts and put it up on their Facebook page and tweet it out.
Snapchat, Vine videos, all that. Yeah, I think that they were each reaching for their moments. I think having a woman on the stage did affect the dynamic. The guys talked about their wives a lot. When asked what woman would go on a $10 bill, they could only think about the women that they lived with, which I thought was just fascinating. And then Margaret Thatcher, I think, got thrown in the mix there. You know, so it's just it felt to me like they weren't so much about the there, but they were really about the 10 to 20 to 30 seconds down the road. That's what they wanted to be remembered by.
But in the practice, in this game, do you now have to already have that in mind before you walk up there on that stage?
I think they've always been rehearsed in that regard. You can go back years and years. Remember in the 1980 debate between Ronald Reagan and Jimmy Carter, where Reagan says, "Oh, there you go again." Well, that kind of stuff has always been rehearsed, or at least put on the radar for things that the candidate should or could say if the opportunity presented itself. And now, with candidates having their own social media apparatus, it's incumbent upon them to help push out the message. And so whether it's Vine or Snapchat or some of the other social media apparatus, it makes perfect sense for the candidate to go to the stage absolutely prepared to drop certain one-liners that can be used, even if the news outlets won't use them, that they can use them for their own purposes.
And Bruce, I saw them all day, and candidates used those moments at points during the 3 hours to neutralize their own bad moments or their own problems. But I'm wondering whether there comes a point in the next debate or the one after that where there's going to have to be an eventual reckoning. Was Hewlett-Packard run well or badly? Did Donald Trump's businesses fail or didn't they fail? Did Wisconsin have real serious budget problems under Scott Walker or didn't it? Last night it was very hard to tease out whether any of those things were true or not, and then we just moved on to the next thing before we ever knew.
Well, there will come a point, and it'll come in 2 forms, I think. First of all, those debates will get smaller. Rick Perry's already out of this race. Some of these candidates won't be able to sustain campaigns, stay in. The RNC is already talking about dropping the undercard debate, as it's called. And as there are fewer candidates, we'll have the opportunity to have longer with them and more follow-up questions on points like that. The other thing that's going to happen is these things are going to be challenged by the other campaigns. Carly Fiorina gave an excellent answer last night about defending her tenure at HP. But when she ran against Barbara Boxer in the Senate race, television commercials, 30 seconds, pretty well eviscerated that defense of HP. She's going to have to find a way. Walker's tenure in Wisconsin might be challenged. Bush's tenure in Florida might be challenged. The claims that Trump makes on issues that he doesn't provide a lot of substance for are going to be challenged on television. And that's where a lot of this back and forth will occur, is in the campaigns, in the television ads. And we learn a lot from that.
Professor, is that going to happen before the first votes are cast?
I think it will. I think by the time you get to January, we'll be in the 8 to 10 candidate range. Still a lot, but certainly a more, manageable operation than what you have right now.
When are the first Democratic debates? Do we even know?
Yeah, the first one is in Colorado next month.
In October? October.
Next month, that's right.
Okay.
A lot fewer people on stage.
Well, we didn't program it purposely this way, but it turned out everybody on stage tonight was beautiful. Angela Kelly, Executive Director of the Progress Action Fund at the Center for American Progress. Michael Fauntleroy, Associate Professor of Political Science at Howard University. And political strategist Bruce Haynes, founding partner of Purple Strategies. Great to see you all. I'll be back in a moment with a final thought on what these forums accomplish. It's debatable. Stay with us. It's Inside Story.